right, let me bring in Sean Salisbury. During his long NFL career, our following guest was so good he got to play for the Seahawks and the Colts and the Vikings and the Chargers and the Oilers. And I could keep going on, but I don't have that much time. He also won a championship. And no, not the Super Bowl, a Grey Cup. Close enough. It's my honor to introduce a man who can't even walk down the streets of Winnipeg this day without being mobbed. Our good friend, Sean Salisbury. Salisbury.
The cup, brother. Thanks for having me on.
Yep. Sean brought one good knee with him. He's playing hurt. Had a little replacement surgery there.
Yeah, total knee replacement, man. Good to be on with you guys.
How did you get hurt?
Clipboard.
Did something happen on the sidelines?
I'll tell you, the walk from the sidelines on the turf to get to the locker room is a bear.
The I-team has a report on Sean Salisbury's knee injury.
Dan, our sources say that Sean Salisbury injured his knee playing ping-pong. That's the word on the street.
You know what? I was in Austin with my son Dodge, and this is I'm about 11 weeks in with this surgery. And about 6 weeks in, I'm in Austin, and there's this really great restaurant bar, brand new, that has like 10,000 ping pong balls. You grab a ping pong table and play. And so we're playing, and in the middle of it, he hits one of those little drop shots to the side that you got to go forehand. Then he hits another one. I backhand. I get to them both. He catches the ball on the way back, and I hit it back, and he stops, and he goes, "Man, Pops, I haven't seen you do that in about 25 years. So the reaction time is back.
Oh, wow.
The reaction time is back.
Are you better right now than Phillip Rivers is right now? Is your arm stronger than Phillip Rivers right now?
Maybe.
Okay, all right.
And but I move about like Phillip does, but competitor. You know what? Going to the Colts, though, you guys mentioned.
Yeah.
The reason why that's perfect for him is they got a good roster, an offensive line. He doesn't have to move out of the hula hoop, so it makes sense. Veteran coach, understands veteran players, and Frank Reich. I actually think it makes perfect sense for the Colts on a roster that can protect him. He can't move, though.
All right, but what do you do with the Chargers? If you got the number 6 pick and, you know, are you putting Tyrod Taylor in there and maybe you draft one of these younger players?
He's one of the perfect backups, and he's been like that Steve DeBerg bridge guy. It seems like every year they go get somebody else right wherever he is. I'll tell you what. Let's just say the Patriots the Chargers pry Tom Brady from the Patriots. He decides, I'm going to go sign a 2-year deal with the Chargers. Roster, Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry, good line, strong defense, pass rushers, chance to win, get to play against the Mahomes of the world. And then you can still draft a quarterback. Why not? Why not? Why not have the Herbert or Tua, whoever's there, and then start Tom Brady? You know what you get. You know, like Phillip Rivers, where he's going to be, but you also know his arm's he's still got 90 in his fastball, and you give him players and a better offense. If you're really looking into it and we're going to start, creating conspiracy theories, isn't that the best place for Brady if he leaves the Patriots, if he has the wherewithal to leave, or if they let him get out of the building?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if Brady truly wants to go back to the Patriots. Robert Kraft says the Patriots want him back.
Right.
Then why won't this happen?
And McDaniels is still there.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Oh, no, I personally, I don't think he's leaving. But there's that temptation when you look at the offensive roster for the Patriots. And Tom, early in his career and in the middle of his career, well, quite frankly, up until he's about 40 or 41, could take guys that were average, a 5, and make them a 7, Dan. And I think we saw for the first time, and I think Brady's the GOAT, and I don't even think it's a question. And I still think he can play. I still think he can win a championship. I think he's that smart and that good. But it's to the point now, it's like when you're being raised by your family, and then it gets to the point when they're like 80 and you got to take care of your parents, that switches. Tom's been taking care of a roster of, there's been great players, but there's been some where he's had to turn a guy we've never heard of who played lacrosse into a really good player. Now it's time that they give him a bunch of players. And imagine right now, if you're Brady's not playing to finish 3rd in the division. Why would he? He's playing to win. And so with that roster, if they can promise him they're going to go out and get 3 receivers and compete, that's one thing. But their offense was putrid this year. And I can understand the temptation for Brady to want to stay and play his whole career there, but also the temptation to say, let me make one more run at it if the Patriots aren't going to fill a roster offensively. They've got to find players that can help him. It's that stage right now.
I think we put too much blame on Brady this year, not enough on Belichick. As much as we want to give credit when they win, when it comes to blame, it feels like the blame goes towards Brady more than it does Belichick. Did he draft the right guys? Did they prepare for Gronk not playing? It was a makeshift offensive line. I thought they should have gone after Emmanuel Sanders.
Agreed.
I thought that at the time I said the Patriots need him more than anybody does, but I don't know if that would have been enough for this team. But I don't know if Belichick did a great job with that offensive roster.
Wasn't his best job, and here's what's funny, guys. We're saying this, they're 12-4, right?
Yeah.
They were able with defense and piecing things together. And I bet you if you talk to Belichick, Bill would tell you in private that he didn't do his best job, but he's going to move on to it and think in 2020. And here's what's interesting about that, Dan. I think that you get so spoiled with success and you say, oh, that guy's been so great. And we've been able, games that we saw this year that were within a touchdown, and you say, it's no problem, it's the final drive. Tom's going to, it's like Mikey in the Life cereal commercial, right? He's going to bail us out. Let's get him to do it. They couldn't do it. The guy couldn't separate. Tom maybe didn't hit the window that he wanted to this year, and Tom will probably tell you he didn't have his best season.
They lost to the Dolphins at home.
Exactly. And they lost back-to-back games at a time at home. We never see that. So, yeah, I think it got to the point, and when you get too late into the season, Dan, as you know this, there's nothing you can do. But they did. They missed out on personnel, and I think they said, Brady, you're so good and have been so great for so long that you'll bail us out. And it didn't happen this year. And even though 12-4 was an ugly offensive 12-4, if they don't make offensive changes, the rest of the league's catching them. You see how good these Chiefs are offensively in the AFC. Josh Allen's Bills are getting better. They need to put players around Tom. And I still think if you got the right mix, Tom Brady's still good enough to win. Go ahead and tell him he's not, and he'll battle you till the end.
Sean Salisbury joining us. He, of course, is the host of Sports Talk 790 in Houston, former NFL quarterback. This question with the Super Bowl has always come down to this. Mahomes is considered to be a whole lot better than Jimmy Garoppolo. I think the Niners are a better team than Kansas City.
Agreed.
The Niners don't have a Tyreek Hill. They have a Kittle to match Kelsey. Their offensive line, their running game, their defense is better than Kansas City. This comes down to Patrick Mahomes is the reason why the Chiefs are favored in this Super Bowl. Can Jimmy Garoppolo come from 10 points down in the fourth quarter to win this game on Sunday if he needs to? They may not even need it.
Yeah, I think you hit my limit with the 10 points. If this is one where the track meet becomes, it's 21-3, it's different. Dan, don't you feel like when you're watching the 49ers now that you're going 2.5 decades back, tight ends, Kittle run the receiver on a motion, fake jet sweep, and then fake bootleg old Tom Rathman, get him to the flat. I mean, I feel like I'm watching Kyle's dad coach, and even before. They're so old school and so physical. Down 10 points in the middle of the third quarter, yeah. Look at Garoppolo's numbers within 7 points, and look at Garoppolo, a top 5 in completion percentage and touchdowns. He's really good. The problem is, when I say this to you, Dan, who's the greatest receiver of all time? Answer quickly.
Jerry.
And you don't even think about it, right? Are we to the point now when we say, who's the best quarterback in the NFL? Who are you saying?
I don't go Mahomes as quickly as I would Jerry Rice.
Not as quickly, but are you? Jerry Rice is clear. Randy Moss probably second. But when it comes to now, the ability to do things under pressure, to bring you from behind, to play out in front with a great play caller and Andy Reid, all those things. I'm to the point now, there's not a general manager or a coach, and I don't care what they say in public. If I took them into a conference room and we were sitting having a cup of coffee or a cold beer, 64 of them, I say, you got the first pick of any current player in the league. You know who they're taking? Mahomes. And they're not going to hesitate.
Yeah.
So with this, now if they're down 21-3, we've seen it. Mahomes, you want to die a fast death or a slow death? Mahomes will hit you for 4 touchdowns in 1 quarter, and you're like, what happened? This 49ers, they punch you in the gut. And around round 8, you're starting to hyperventilate a little bit. And then you go to your corner and your guy says, you doing okay? Yeah, I'm going okay. And you're seeing out of 2 different eyes, 2 different ways. And then they hit you with another gut punch, and Kittle wears a guy out in the secondary. And then the receivers get downfield and they're blocking for a Mostert 40-yard run. And before you know it, you're in the middle of the fourth quarter and you're saying, it's still only 23-13, but I feel like Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson beat me down in a long fight. So I do think Garoppolo. I think we underrate Garoppolo because the overall team may be the best in the league as far as complete. But Mahomes, imagine if you flipped and said Mahomes is a quarterback for the 49ers. It'd be an 8, 9, 10-point spread. So, that's Paulie, the difference.
Would you check with your guy in Vegas if Mahomes was on the 49ers?
If you swap teams?
Yeah.
Swap quarterbacks.
They're just a quarterback.
I'll check, but usually in a high-end game like this, it wouldn't change that much. But during the regular season, if let's say Mahomes...
Wait, if Mahomes was on San Francisco, that wouldn't change this?
They would have to be the favorite now.
They would be favored.
Yes. It would be a couple points. But during the regular season, let's say Mahomes suddenly was out for a Monday night game. that would be 6 or 7 points. And that would be probably the most in the league. It would be 6 or 7 points that would change if Mahomes was scratched for a game and the line changed.
I want to ask you this before I let you go, and that has to do with Eli Manning. We're going to wait 5 years. And I asked Peter King, does it help or hurt Eli Manning that there is a 5-year window before we vote on him for the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
What do you say?
I'm going to wait for your answer first. You can't copy off his paper here.
I personally, I don't cheat off anybody's paper. If I would have, I'd have been a starting quarterback, right? I would say
you went to USC. People took your test for you.
Yeah. Now that would hurt.
Whoa, too soon.
Listen, we lost to Bowling Green in the recruiting class, so slow down. We're getting crushed everywhere. Dan, I think it hurt him. I think it would hurt him. I think Eli Manning's a Hall of Famer. And now listen, everything I did growing up except the performance was Joe Namath. I wore those old Rydell cleats, that Joe wore, the number 12, the 3-bar face mask that Marina wore and that Joe Namath wore, the way wristbands, I pushed on my shoulder pads, the way Joe always did that. I did that. I mean, everything I did was Namath.
Yeah.
I didn't wear a mink coat, but everything I did. And so I looked, and then I go back, and Namath, I hold him in such high regard, but when you look at his numbers, and I know that what Joe did, the impact because of the Super Bowl and the guarantee.
Well, I don't think Joe's a Hall of Famer.
But he's in.
I know.
That's my point.
I know. He's in. But it's different. It is. It's different.
And I get it. But when you think, and I know people say, well, the wins and losses, but this ain't tennis and golf. This is football. And I know why. You know what's funny? We judge pitchers and quarterbacks. Why don't we say, well, how many games did the wide receivers in the Hall of Fame win? He's part of it, or the right tackle. It's always the quarterback. I think he is. And I think the Manning name doesn't hurt Dan. If he's sitting on the fence and somebody says, well, he's a good guy. He's won 2 Super Bowls. He played his best in the biggest games of his career. And he played in New York, which is a difficult play. And did what he did. It took them on the road after they started 0-2 that year. They beat an 18-0 Patriots team. I do. And I think we've got to look at the quarterback position more than just raw numbers. It's amazing. A guy throws for numbers and doesn't win a Super Bowl. Oh, he sucks. We can't have him. Then the guy puts up Super Bowls but doesn't have the numbers of, say, a Dan Marino. It's like, oh, we can't put him in. Eli put up numbers. Durability, one of the most underrated parts of his game, durable.
Yeah.
And he won 2 Super Bowls. I think it would hurt him more because the longer we wait and we see the gaudy numbers that guys are putting up, people will all of a sudden say, well, Eli didn't have those gaudy numbers, threw too many picks. And if you're going to judge a career on interceptions, then you better judge Babe Ruth or Reggie Jackson or Aaron Judge by their strikeouts. He overcame it's got 2 Super Bowl rings. He's in the Hall of Fame. And he won't be a first ballot, but he'll make it in the 3rd or 4th time around.
Can you put on the headphones? Do you have headphones?
You want me to put them on?
We got a surprise for you. Seton will help you.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a surprise for you before you go. Paulie?
Yeah, as we all know, Sean was one of the co-hosts of the show back in the day. We had a lot of fun, Sean, back in the day. And this is one of your personal favorite interviews, Sean. I think this is 2005 with former Yankee great Mickey Rivers.
Oh, dude, don't do this to me.
You see the team is going to be a land show. You just went against a social pick one move, more less to be just a Southgate guy.
What?
I don't know what he said.
People who are international, like the international guys, more a little bit small trainer didn't still break over there.
But my favorite is when he laughs at the end, like he just delivered a great punchline. I don't know what he said.
You looked at me like, dude, what did he say?
Yeah.
I said, I don't know. And then I look at you because you want the interview over.
I know. And then you followed up by going, do you have any Reggie Jackson stories? And I go, no. I don't want. You may have Reggie Jackson stories. I won't be able to understand them.
I mean, I'm hitting this. I turned my mic off, and I'm friggin' crying. And going down, and Dan looks at me when I say Reggie Jackson stories, Mickey. And Dan looks at me like, dude, are you the dumbest guy on the planet, Sean? But here's the kicker.
I was ready to kill you.
The greatest kicker ever is when you talk to him about Bucky Dent's bat, and he was interviewing Bucky as if Bucky was on the air, and you just referred to a highlight. It was the greatest.
It was like he was talking to Bucky, but Bucky wasn't there. And I'm listening to this, and I just went, oh my God! And then he started with, and then I go, I don't know what he said, and I was like, let's wrap it up.
Hey, Mickey.
Hey, do you have any Reggie Jackson? No! Good God, no!
God, was and I could picture what Mickey was talking about, how he was all quick in the batter's box. You know how he'd always shrug his shoulders in the batter's box. Dude, I've had so many priceless
Sean,
moments with you.
He almost got arrested at the toll booth. Remember, he was on the phone and he lied to the toll booth guy that he was on the phone with Mr. Steinbrenner.
You cannot. Nobody wasn't on the phone with Mr. Steinbrenner.
No.
Apparently, he was on the phone with Bucky Dennis.
God. It's great to see you, buddy. Great. That's my gift too. That's my. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Uncontrollable. Thanks, guys. It's great
Sean
to be on. Have a great week.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.